Bruno Mars is not black. I don't think a lot of people know this. Bruno Mars is not black. Bruno Mars is not half black. Welcome, 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 black. Hello, 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 hello. It is so good to be black and back. Okay. Hello everyone, welcome back. I am so excited for today's video. I'm so excited to give you some black knowledge content, the bread and butter of this channel. I know I've been doing a lot of vlogs lately. You've seen me traveling, just doing things, but you know, I said, let's come and have a sit down talk about something, and I'm about to get into it. I wanted to come to you all today to talk about Silk Sonic, specifically Bruno Mars, okay? In this video, I'm really gonna be talking mainly just about this bigger conversation of maybe cultural appropriation in music, but just like singers and like what singers kind of get a pass to be able to dibble and dabble in a lot of different genres of music and therefore put on a performance or put on a show to like fit into that role. So very excited for today's video. And overall, I'm gonna say this throughout the video, but I'm gonna start off saying it now. If you are a Bruno Mars fan, keep watching. If you are a Bruno Mars apologist, keep watching. This video is for you and it's for everyone, okay? I'm not gonna sit up here and trash Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is a great artist. I used to be a huge fan of Bruno Mars. The issue is not necessarily Bruno Mars, okay? The issue that I'm gonna be kind of talking about is the fact that non-black artists oftentimes get way more praise than black artists do for making music that maybe black artists might make, might not make, X, Y, and Z, or genres that a lot of times black artists like pioneered, but they don't get the same acclaim as these maybe non-black artists will get. And that's more of the problem that I'm gonna be talking about in this video, okay? So I'm not coming for Bruno Mars. Bruno, if you're somehow watching this, you know, hey, hi. But I'm not coming for you. I'm coming for the issue and the problem. And honestly, the responsibility of us as consumers or as Americans, as people who listen to this music and give this kind of music streams and give these kinds of people streams, how we can honestly do better. So sit back, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I got a lot of great content coming up, a lot of cool trips, a lot of more amazing topics within black knowledge, the black knowledge realm coming up for you, and that I've talked about on this channel already. So here we go. We're gonna go ahead and get into this intro, and then we're gonna get to it. Alright, so for this video, the historical context is going to be kind of brief, and I'm actually going to shout out some videos that I've already done that I've talked about this topic a lot. But overall, I'm going to say that in America, in American history, there is a very clear pattern that has happened to where artists who are not black, but who have maybe a soulful sound of voice, you know, maybe their voice is very, you know, I don't know, I'm not like an artist. Maybe I could have like an artist cover. If you are like a musician, I feel like you probably know like the vibrato or whatever, but some artists have just a very soulful sound, and maybe their voice tends very well to like R&B or like ballads or whatever. And if they're not black, but then maybe they have a, you know, very soulful sound, then it's like, ooh, look at that, this person's like white, but then they sound like black or whatever. And I feel like a lot of people have that that idea about these artists and like give these artists a lot of acclaim because of that. And I feel like it's very similar for non-black artists who rap or who rap very well. You know, it's like almost another level of like, ooh, this is cool because you don't look like you're a rapper, but you are a rapper and you're rapping very cool and whatever. And there we've seen a lot of history where a lot of these artists do very well monetarily or when it comes to awards because of this ability to kind of like dip their toe in like blackness, but not really have the privilege to like dip out of that pool, if that makes sense, kind of. And I'll go into what this means a little bit later. Now for me, personally, artists who do this, you know, it's your life. Like, I don't really think that's the issue at the end of the day. I mean, everyone might agree or disagree. Comment below what you think. I do want to do a video about gatekeeping. I do feel like we need to gatekeep a lot more as a community. Comment below if that's like, you know, what you want to see. But overall, at the end of the day, like, maybe if you are someone who is not Black, but you always just resonated with, I don't know, a certain kind of music, and maybe you have the voice that lends for it. If you want to make the music you want to make, that's fine. The issue is the fact that a lot of these artists, like I said, get a lot more acclaim than maybe the Black artists who actually started this genre of music or started this sound, or are making their lives trying to sing in this way or whatever, and who are like just not even comparing to some of these non-Black artists who are just like getting all the money and getting all the awards and stuff. Now, I know sounds kind of like blanket, like up in the air, so I'm gonna bring it right down to some concrete. I talk about this specifically when it comes to Elvis, right? In a video I did called Do African Americans Have a Culture? I'll put it somewhere up here on the screen. If you want more information, check that video out. In that video, I go really a lot into detail about the fact that Elvis, who, you know, is seen as like one of the greats and all these things, a pioneer, actually stole a lot of his music, a lot of his sound, a lot of his style of performing from Black artists. But he got way more successful than the Black artists because of racism and because of this, ooh, like, he's white, but like he looks and he's dancing really cool and he's singing in a new way, when really that way was just how a lot of Black artists were doing it. But, you know, they didn't get half as much money and acclaim as Elvis did. And side note, it's funny because Bruno Mars used to do Elvis impersonations when he was like really young. And it's just a funny little thing because it's like, I don't know. It's just funny. That's like a random aside. All that to say, that is someone who a lot of people, I think nowadays, will talk about. And I know there's like an Elvis movie coming out. I probably will watch it, but I wonder if in the movie they're actually going to talk about that. How he stole a lot of his music from Black artists. But there's also a lot of other artists who did the same thing. I believe the Beach Boys did that as well. A lot of their songs and sounds were stolen from Black artists who, you know, did not get the acclaim, the proper acclaim, because of, like I said, you know, racism or whatever. And the Beach Boys just like triumphing over all of them. So this is a pattern that we've seen in American pop culture. And again, in that video that I talk about, where you can watch it if you'd like, I feel like the reason a lot of times African American culture is like, oh, well, African Americans, do we really have a culture? It's because the wider American culture commodifies and takes so much from Black culture and kind of just like puts a mask on it. And it's like, well, it's all American culture and it's all just, you know, rock and roll, or it's all just soul. And it's like, no, it was stolen. Now, something else that this conversation kind of brings up is cultural appropriation. And that is also a video that I'm gonna put up here if you wanna check that out. And I really kind of get into the differences between cultural appreciation and cultural appropriation. And again, I feel like that has to do with this topic as well, because it's kind of like, okay, a lot of times these artists might appropriate, you know, a piece of this culture for their performance. And that's kind of what I'm gonna get into with the whole Silk Sonic thing. And like they're did this little, I don't even know, it was like this little skit at the Grammys, and it was so cringe, because I was just like, this man is not Black, but he's like cosplaying as like this 70s Black singer. I don't know. It was weird. But if you want more information about that and like what the specific differences are in terms of cultural appropriation and appreciation, definitely check that video out. But those two videos kind of provide a lot of the historical context that I would kind of talk about in this video, in this one right here. So that's why I kind of say like, check those videos out, because I kind of already went over that. But again, the main thing that all this boils down to is that this is not a new phenomenon, okay? In America, it is very common that certain artists might, again, reach a lot of acclaim for essentially taking aspects of Black culture or genres and ways of singing and performing that Black artists pioneered but didn't get the acclaim for. And I also really want to mention that Bruno Mars isn't the only artist that's doing this right now, okay? I can throw on the screen a lot of artists that I think have gotten a lot of success because they sound black, but they're not. And I think it's really, you hear them on the radio and you're like, ooh, what's this song? And then you look up the person, you're like, oh my gosh, this person's white, or oh my gosh, this person's like Latina or whatever. And it's like a ooh, I don't know. It's like, I don't know if it's like exoticism, I don't know, but it's a thing, and it happens. So I also don't want to like sit up here and like say it's just Bruno Mars or Silk Sonic or just, you know, these people, because this is happening even throughout current days. Okay, so this is talking about a bigger issue. And again, overall, this is not something that the artists can really control. They should control it, but at the end of the day, just like Bruno Mars, if he's realizing this is making him money, is winning him Grammys, he's not gonna want to stop, you know? And I mean, I feel like we just need to do better as people. I feel like we need to do better as a community, and just stop giving certain people, okay, these awards or just money or streams and things like this. So I really think that we need to turn within ourselves as like communities and really be a lot more conscious of things like this. Without further ado, let's talk about Bruno. All right, so now we're gonna get into the meat of what this video is kind of talking about, okay? The problem. Now, before I specifically go into Bruno Mars, I would like to say that something also happened. A lot of this conversation about Silk Sonic, I will say, kind of started after the Grammys this year. And something that also happened at the Grammys that I think a lot of people were calling out was the winner of the best like reggae album of the year that I'm gonna get into right now. So according to BET.com, I'm gonna read it verbatim just so we get all the facts and we know what albums were nominated. Dancehall queen Spice, who was nominated for her debut album 10, dancehall veteran Sean Paul for his work on Live and Livin', Jesse Royale for Royal, Gramps Morgan for Positive Vibration, and reggae songstress Etna, who earned a nomination for her genre-bending project Pamoja. So essentially, all those artists were nominated, and then this white group, this white reggae band called Soja from like Virginia. They're from Virginia. So they were all nominated for this reggae category, and essentially the all-white group Soja won. And they're a reggae group from Virginia, like I just said. And a lot of people on Twitter, and I believe even Sean Paul was just kind of like,
so I am confusion
over Spice, you know? And I think a lot of people were just like very upset and just calling out the fact that this like all white group who is not even from Jamaica, you know, won. Not only were they, I mean, obviously they were nominated if they make the reggae album, maybe people liked it, whatever. But the fact that they won an award over people who are actually from Jamaica, who have actually been making reggae music for years, the fact that they won over, you know, everyone else in the category, I think a lot of people were just calling out like, how is that the case? How is that okay? And this doesn't necessarily happen all the time. The article goes on to discuss that this is the first time an all-white group has won in the reggae category, and this is the third time a non-Jamaican has won for the category as well. So in its 37-year history. So, you know, that is definitely something to note, but at the end of the day, it just, something about it just does not sit right. Something about it just does not sit right that these guys from Virginia kind of got together, maybe were really into like reggae music and then just started kind of listening to it and putting, you know, bands together. Them winning an award in this category over someone who's like from Jamaica, you know, has been making this kind of music for years, like something up, you know, it's just, it's at that point you can argue that it's within their culture. So it's like, how are you gonna lose to someone who, it's almost like they're like appropriating the culture versus you actually being in the culture. That's what I'll say I can empathize with and visualize. Now, Spice might feel a certain way, same with Sean Paul. I'm not trying to speak for them, but I can understand the outrage that at least like some of the public had after this win was announced. Now, here's what I want to say for the record. Bruno Mars is not black. Okay? I don't think a lot of people know this. Bruno Mars is not black. Bruno Mars is not half black. Bruno Mars' father is Puerto Rican and half Puerto Rican and half Jewish, which is white, okay? And his mother is Filipina with some Spanish descent. He grew up in Hawaii, so he has a tan, his hair is a little wavy, but that is not a black man. Bruno Mars is not a black man, okay? Look it up. It's a fact. It's a fact, okay? So that is the context for me why I felt the need to really get on this platform and speak on this, okay? Now, because this man is not black, okay? Because he's not black, his act, his performance, the things he does when he's performing with Anderson .Paak as Silk Sonic, okay? It's blackface, okay? I'm sorry to say. It is blackface. To me, him doing all those moves and the whatever. I know y'all seen the video. I'm gonna try to put it up here. I know y'all seen the video. Him doing that, to me, looks the same as if back in like the 30s and 40s when white people would put on blackface and shuck and jive around and put on for entertainment acting like black people, what they thought black people acted like. It's the same thing. I'm sorry. It's the same thing. And we can go back and forth. It's the same thing. This man is not black. So he's doing this little 70s black, I don't know, whatever, and he needs to stop, okay? Now, for me personally, at the end of the day, like I said, you want to make the music you want to make, whatever. Maybe he has an affinity to that 70s sound. If you want to make that music, I can't, I'm not going to stop you. But if you're watching this, Bruno, stop the performance. Please, just sing the song. You don't have to put on the act because it's cringe. It's cringe and it's blackface. It's cringe and it's blackface. It's cringe because it's blackface. And the cherry on top, honestly, it's more than the cherry. It's the frosting and the cherry. The worst part of all this is that he's getting praised for it. He's winning the Grammys for it. There's people who will die hard laying out in the desert saying Bruno is like amazing. And yes, he is, okay? He can sing, he can dance. I'm telling you, I used to be a fan. But this is ridiculous. The performance, the act is ridiculous. We have to, come on. And where does it stop? Because my thing is, where does it stop now? What are you gonna do next? You're gonna perm your hair? What you gonna do? Like, where is this gonna end? And here's why I think we as a community, or we as just Americans, we just need to do a little bit better. And I feel like when I think of Bruno Mars, like when I was really into Bruno Mars personally, I was in middle school and it was with that album that was like yellow and white, and I forgot the name of it. Anyway, I love that album. I listen to the album all the time. That album was not how this Silk Sonic album sounds. Bruno Mars, I think, likes to dabble in a lot of his music, and he has the right to. He's an artist, okay? He likes a lot of different kinds of music. It's fine, okay? That album, I remember it was very like poppy. There was some like instrumentation, but there was one song with like CeeLo Green that was a little like, no. There was one song with, it was one of Bob Marley's kids, and it was like a very like, it was a liquor store blues. It was a very like kind of reggae sound, and that was like the one sound, and I was like, okay, whatever. Bruno Mars, I feel like, likes to dabble in a lot of different kinds of genre in his music, and he has the privilege to do that because he's rich and he's not black. He has the privilege to do that. He can dip and dodge. So I think a lot of times I'm like, okay, y'all, we're really giving this man so much, but next year he could be like, okay, tired of the black music. Well, a lot of music is black music, but he could be like, I'm tired of the 70s sound. Let's get into some rock. He could drop a rock album next month. that sounded like AC/DC, and he'd probably get a lot of acclaim with that sound. Okay, I just feel like he's not. I just feel like he's gonna dip and dabble and dodge. So I just feel like that also, something about that also makes his performance with Anderson .Paak and this whole Silk Sonic thing just an act. It just feels like an act, because I'm like, I doubt you're gonna keep making this kind of music for the rest of your career. I'm pretty sure at some point you're gonna be like, okay, what's next? What music do I want to dabble in next? And again, it's not just Bruno. Many artists do this. Comment down below if you have some artists in mind that you know for a fact also kind of do stuff like this. We can have a conversation in the comments. You know, let me know. But overall, that's really how I feel, okay? Now, specifically with Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak is half black. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. I feel like it sounds weird trying to like gatekeep or be like, well, you have this right, but that's the reality. So if you know, again, Bruno, if you're still watching this, let Anderson do all that. It would still be weird, but at least just let him do it. If one of y'all has to do it, has to put on the act, has to do the voice, has to wear the wigs, just let Anderson do it and just stand there in your suit and sing the song if that's what you really want to do. If that's what you really, really want to do. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. But comment down below. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel, because I knew doing this would be a controversial take. So many people love Silk Sonic. So many people love Bruno Mars. Again, I don't think Bruno Mars is a bad guy. I think he's doing what he needs to do to bring in that money to get that level of fame that he wants. So he gonna do what he do, but I'm letting you know it's not all right. It's not okay. It's not right. It's not okay. All right, takeaways. You know I always will have you watching my video and taking something away with it, okay? First takeaway, please listen to and stream the actual black artists from the 70s, from the 60s who were making this music. Please. Some of the Silk Sonic songs are literally covers of these older 70s songs. Spotify, I have Spotify, okay? They've not sponsored this video, but Spotify has a lot of these artists. Listen to their songs, please. Listen to and stream the original versions. We really need to be, if we're really loving this sound, there are people who made this sound. There's people who invented this sound, okay? And they're not getting half the money Bruno's getting. Or, you know, Silk Sonic or whatever. They're not gonna get that. You know, but at least what we can do is we can honor their voices. We can honor the fact that they were pioneers, okay? So that's the first takeaway. Let's just cut the middleman out, go to the source. Cut the middleman out, go to the source. Next takeaway, very similar to the first, listen to and stream these black artists who are making these, you know, R&B sounds or these rap sounds or whatever. And of course, I feel like people listen to rap all the time. I definitely think rap is probably a little bit different because there's like I think a lot of times it might be harder to gain respect if you're like not black and you're trying to be a rapper or whatever, even though it's done. Okay, there's someone out now who I feel like is getting a lot of acclaim. That's another thing. Okay, never mind. But overall, I just say let's listen to these artists, these black artists who probably are not going to be at the same level as some of these other non-black people who are making these sounds, R&B sounds, these whatever sounds, but that still deserve and need the money and need the acclaim that, you know, they might not ever get because of these non-black artists who make their music, essentially, who take their music. Okay, there's a lot of examples of this. I know a lot of people now are starting to talk about how a lot of J-Lo's songs were Ashanti songs that she kind of just took and just made, you know? So I'm telling you, this really does happen. Comment down below some examples that you know of. But yeah, I just say we need to really start going back to the source. And again, it's kind of broad. It seems maybe problematic to say because at the end of the day, if you're a black artist, you can make whatever kind of music you want, just like any artist, okay? But there's just so many examples of like some black artists and their stuff just being taken, like just taken by people who are gonna supersede them, okay? So I just feel like we as a people, community, Americans, whatever, we just need to do better about really acknowledging, you know, the source. And overall, I feel like everything that this is getting to, the fact that a lot of these non-Black artists feel like they can take this music and run with it, is because a lot of times Black Americans, okay, Black people everywhere are the trendsetters, okay? We just are. I feel like a lot of times, a lot of people look at what Black Americans are doing, or Black people in Europe, or Black people everywhere are doing, and kind of like, okay, that's what dictates is what is cool, which is amazing because Black people are incredible. Okay, we know this, okay? We know this. If you're watching this, if you know me, you know I know this. You know we know this, okay? So it's not a surprise. And I mean, if I was not Black, I would want to be Black, okay? Thankfully I am, but you know, so I understand the fascination, I understand the desire, but at the end of the day, I feel like, again, it's not fair. It's not fair because certain people will get way more success than actual Black folks, and that's because of racism, anti-Blackness, everything, colorism, all of it. Throw it together, put it in a pot, all of that. So yes, comment down below what you think. That's mainly it for the video. I know it's a little bit more informal, just kind of like my opinions and thoughts with some, of course, accurate information. But comment down below, what do you think of Silk Sonic? You know, maybe you watch this video and you're like, girl, you're way off base. Let me know in the comments. But be nice. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of Silk Sonic. Let me know what you think of these artists who, you know, do this. Let me know what you think about maybe ways that we can make sure we are giving the proper just due to artists who actually like create these kinds of music or whatever. Let me know what you think in the comments, how you're feeling, what you're thinking. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and watch my other videos that have to do with a lot of these topics. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching all the way through. I will see you all next time. Black knowledge is Black power, and thank you so much.